The last class we have learned basics of cluster analysis. That is, cluster analysis means data sets are divided into different groups in the cluster analysis, which is based on the similarity of the data, right? After the classification of data into various groups, a label is assigned to the group, right? So we have discussed the basic concept of cluster analysis. Now let us discuss different types of clusters and basics of cluster algorithms. Different types of clusters. First one is well-separated clusters. A cluster is a set of objects in which each object is closer or more similar to every other object in the cluster than to any object not in the cluster. Okay, so objects within the same cluster will be similar to each other or closer to each other if it is based on the distance. Closer to each other, or it will be similar to each other. So that is within the cluster. If we consider two objects in different cluster, those two objects will be different. Sometimes a threshold is used to specify that all the objects in a cluster must be sufficiently close to one another. So here we can take some property of the objects so that it will be so that we can see the similarity between two objects, or we can find the distance. We can find the distance using the distance. We can say that if the objects are within this distance, then that belongs to the same cluster. Okay, so that is called as threshold. That is called as threshold. Using this particular threshold or property, we can group the objects together in a cluster. Figure 8.2a, that is in the next slide, I'll show you that, gives an example of well-separated cluster that consists of two groups of points in two-dimensional space. Okay, remember that in a well-separated cluster, objects in each cluster will be similar and objects in different cluster will be different. The distance between any two points in a different groups is larger than the distance between any two points within a group. So you can consider any two points within a cluster. Usually it will be, distance will be less. And if you consider 2 points from different clusters, the distance between those 2 points will be large. So you can see this figure. So it is figure 8.2a. Okay, well separated clusters. Each point is closer to all the points in its cluster than to any point in another cluster. As you can see here, I can consider any point. Okay, I can consider any point within this cluster that will be close to the point in this cluster. Okay, that will be close to the point in this cluster. If I consider one point from this and another some point from this, some point, okay, the distance between these two is larger. Okay, the distance between these 2 points from different cluster, it will be larger. So it is well separated cluster. By looking at the figure only, you can identify it is clearly separated, right? Clearly separated, and distance between the cluster is also moved. You can notice that, right? Second one is prototype based clusters. A cluster is a set of objects in which each object is closer to the prototype that defines the cluster than to the prototype of any other cluster. Prototype means you are considering some measure. You're considering some measure like you're considering midpoint. Okay, midpoint in the cluster you are considering, and objects in that cluster will be closer to that point. Whatever you have considered, that point is called as prototype. Okay, that point is called as prototype, or you have considered some measure for identifying the distances between the objects in the cluster. So that measure is called as prototype here. Okay, so here a cluster is a set of objects in which each object is closer to the prototype. Prototype means the measure whatever you have considered, the point whichever you have considered. Okay, objects in that cluster will be closer to that prototype, and objects in the cluster will be the distance will be more from other prototype of the cluster or other cluster prototype. For data with continuous attributes, the prototype of cluster is often a centroid. That is the average of all the points in the cluster. Okay, usually when we have continuous values in the data, then the prototype will be usually centroid. Centroid means it is average of all the points. Okay, get average of all the points. For example, if you have 5 points, okay, get the difference between 5 points and divide it with 5. So that is the average of all the points. That will be the mean. When a centroid is not meaningful, that is not meaningful means, for example, if it is not continuous, if we have the data like yes or no, okay, that is the classification, for example. Okay, that is when we have the data as categorical attributes, the prototype is often a medoid. That is the most representative point of a cluster. For example, consider we have only 2 values for an attribute like yes or no. Okay, we have only homeowner, for example. Homeowner is equal to yes or no, for example. Okay, so we have only 2 point yes or no. So here I cannot find the difference between these two, right? These are not continuous values, right? So what I can do, I can find one as the medoid, which is having maximum values. That is, we can count how many yes values are there and how many y values, no values are there. Okay, if yes values are more, then yes will be the medoid. If no values are more, then no will be the medoid. Okay. For many types of data, the prototype can be regarded as the most central point, and in such instances, we commonly refer to prototype-based cluster as center-based clusters, such clusters tend to be globular. It's like the shape of the cluster will be round, or shape of the cluster will be circular. Okay, so for the data type, for many types of data, prototype, the point of whatever we are considering will be the midpoint in the cluster. Central point means midpoint in the cluster, and these clusters are usually referred to as center based cluster. And usually these type of clusters will be globular means circular in structure. Figure 8.2b shows an example of center based cluster. You can see this cluster based center based clusters. Each point is closer to the center of its cluster than to the center of any other cluster. So we have 2 clusters here. Okay, we have 2 clusters here, one with the vertical lines and another with the horizontal lines. Right, you can consider any point here. You can consider any point. I'll consider this as center of the cluster. Okay, I'll consider this as center of the cluster. You can consider any point. For example, this one, the one on the border of this cluster. Okay, so this will be nearer to the center than this. Okay, you can find the distance here. When we find the distance between these two is lesser than the distance between these two. Okay, the distance between these two, it is lesser. Okay, so that is the concept here. In center based cluster, any point you consider from the cluster, that will be closer to the center of its own cluster, okay, than the other cluster. Okay, that is center based cluster or prototype based. Okay, next one, graph based cluster. Graph based cluster means if the data is represented as a graph where the nodes are objects and the links represent connection among objects, then a cluster can be defined as a connected component. That is a group of objects that are connected to one another, but that have no connection to objects outside the group. So here points or objects within a single group are connected with each other, and the objects in different group will not be having any connection. Okay, so that is graph based cluster. An important example of graph based cluster or contiguity based clusters, where 2 objects are connected only if they are within a specified distance of each other. Okay, if 2 objects or 2 points are within certain range, then only it will be connected. This implies that each object in a contiguity-based cluster is closer to some other object in the cluster than to any point in a different cluster. So this statement will be same for all the type of cluster. Okay, so the distance between any two points in any of the cluster will be lesser than the 2 points in different cluster. That is distance between 2 points in different cluster. So figure 8.2c shows an example of such a cluster for two-dimensional points. This definition of a cluster is useful when clusters are irregular or intertwined, but can have trouble when noise is present. Since as in the two spherical cluster of figure 8.2c, a small bridge of points can merge two distinct clusters. Okay, I'll show you that figure, you will come to know. So here the definition of cluster, it is very useful when we have irregular shape of clusters. Irregular shape of clusters can be found, then this graph based clusters will be usually useful. Okay, but when we have the noise present in the data, then it will create or it will link two clusters together. Okay, I'll show you that. Other types of graph based clusters are also possible, like a cluster as a clique, that is a set of nodes in a graph that are completely connected to each other. These clusters tend to be globular. Okay, so we have other types of graph based cluster like clique. Okay, name is called as clique here, and the nodes within the graph will be completely connected to each other. So each point will be connected to each point in the cluster. Okay, these clusters tend to be globular. These clusters, usually graph-based clusters, are useful when we have irregular shapes of data points. So here, the clique, whatever we are considering here, that will be usually in the circular form or in the circular shape. You can consider this example. So we have this as one cluster. Okay, this is another cluster, two cluster, and this is one more cluster, three cluster. But you can notice that because of the noise present, these two clusters with the globular shape are connected with each other. It has merged two clusters with a single line or bridge, right? So here we have a curve also. This is also noise. We have a curve. This is also noise. This will also form one cluster here. That is the problem with graph-based cluster or contiguity-based cluster. This is the contiguity-based cluster or graph cluster. Graph-based cluster. Each point is closer to at least one point in its cluster than to any point in another cluster. Density-based cluster. A cluster is a dense region of objects that is surrounded by a region of low density. That is in density-based cluster. So dense region, the points will be more. Wherever the points will be more, that is called as dense region. That dense region will be formed as cluster. Okay, and low density objects will be surrounded. That is surrounded around this dense region. Okay, that is density based cluster. You can notice in the figure 8.2d, I'll show you that. It is some density based cluster for the data created by adding noise to the data of figure 8.2c. That is, in the previous slide, we have seen one data for graph based approach, right? Graph based cluster. In that, we have seen that a bridge of points is joining two cluster or merging two clusters together, and we have a curve of point also, that is also has created like it's one cluster, right? So the same thing will be considered for density based cluster. The two circular clusters are not merged in density based cluster because the line which is joining that, it is not dense. The line which is joining two globular clusters, it is not dense. The number of points in that, it is very less. We have a single line of points, so that will be considered as noise and that will not be added to the cluster, and the bridge between them fades into the noise. So it will be considered as noise, so it will not be visible. Likewise, the curve that is present in figure 8.2c also fades into the noise and does not form a cluster in figure 8.2d. A density-based definition of a cluster is often employed when the clusters are irregular or intertwined and when noise and outliers are present. When noise and outliers are present and when we want the clusters to be in irregular shape, that is, it is not globular. If it is irregular space, then density-based clusters are used. By contrast, a contiguity-based definition. Contiguity means you are a graph-based cluster of a cluster would not work well for the data of figure 8.2d since the noise would tend to form a bridge between cluster. We have seen that in 8.2c, that is, a noise will join two clusters together. Okay, you can notice this density based cluster. In density based cluster, you can notice that it is similar to 8.2c. In 8.2c, we had the connection between two globular or circular cluster. So here it is not there, it is faded into noise. So here clusters are surrounded with low density data. Low density data. So here the noise are merged with the low density data. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Shared property or conceptual clusters. More generally, we can define a cluster as a set of objects that share some property. What is that property? Object in a center-based cluster share the property that they are all closer to the same centroid or midroid. So this is one property. So objects or points in the same cluster will be similar to or will belong to the centroid or midroid or closest. The distance between centroid and the point will be lesser. The shared property approach also includes new types of clusters. Consider the cluster shown in figure 8.2e. I'll show you that is in the next slide. A triangular area is adjacent to a rectangular one and there are two intertwined clusters, that is circles. In both cases, a clustering algorithm would need a very specific concept of a cluster to successfully detect these clusters. So here a specific concept is required to differentiate between two cluster regions. The process of finding such cluster is called conceptual clustering. So you can notice this. So this triangular area and rectangular area, it is very close to each other. So here we need some method. Here we need some concept so that we can separate these two, because the data in triangular region is different from the data in rectangular region. Okay, on the right side you can notice that two circular clusters we have, and again you can notice that it is overlapped. The one circular region is overlapped with another circular region, and the points which are in the intersection of these two circles belongs to both the clusters. Okay, roadmap. So we have different techniques for cluster analysis, but we'll discuss three important techniques to introduce many of the concepts involved in cluster analysis. So first one is K-means. In that, this is a prototype based partitional clustering technique that attempts to find a user specified number of clusters K, which are represented by their centroid. Okay, so in K-means what happens? It will find the average of the points to find the centroid. Okay, and then if you specify the value K, that is, for example, I have specified K is equal to 3, then it will form 3 clusters from the given data. It will form 3 clusters from the given data. So if we specify K number of points, K number of clusters will be created from the given set of data. Then next one is agglomerative hierarchical clustering. This clustering approach refers to a collection of closely related clustering techniques that produce a hierarchical clustering by starting with each point as a singleton clusters and then repeatedly merging the 2 points or 2 closest clusters until a single all-encompassing cluster remains. So in agglomerative hierarchical clustering, it will create the cluster in hierarchical form. Okay, and it will create some point as the singleton cluster. That is with a single point cluster. Cluster is having only single point and then repeatedly merge to closest cluster until a single all encompassing cluster remains. Some of these techniques have a natural interpretation in terms of graph-based clustering, while others have an interpretation in terms of prototype-based approach. It might be based on like graph-based clustering, or it might be based on prototype-based approach. And then third one is DBSCAN. This is a density-based clustering algorithm that produces a partitional clustering in which the number of cluster is automatically determined by the algorithm. So DBSCAN is a density-based clustering. So wherever it finds the dense data, that data will be converted into cluster. Okay, that will form a cluster there, and number of cluster is automatically determined by the algorithm. So here user need not to specify how many cluster has to be formed. So algorithm will automatically determine how many cluster will be formed based on the given data. Points in low density regions are classified as noise and omitted. Thus, DBSCAN does not produce a complete clustering. DBSCAN does not produce a complete clustering. Reason is the region with the low density. Region with low density will be removed from the cluster. K-means algorithm. Prototype-based clustering techniques create a one-level partitioning of the data object. Prototype-based clustering means I told you, Maydod or centroid we can use. There are many techniques for K-means algorithm, but here we are going to discuss most prominent techniques for the K-means algorithm. That is, one is based on means, that is average value of the points, and another one is based on Maydod. K-means defines a prototype in terms of a centroid, which is usually the mean of a group of points and is typically applied to objects in a continuous n-dimensional space. So this K-means is used for the data which is continuous and in n-dimensional space. K-Maydod defines a prototype in terms of a Maydod, which is the most representative point for the group of points and can be applied to a wide range of data science. It requires only a proximity measure for a pair of objects. So here K-Maydod means I told you most frequent value will be considered as Maydod. Okay, and it can be applied to wide range of data. It can be applied to a larger range of data since it requires only a proximity measure. So nearest values it will find for creating the proximity measurement. Some nearest value it will find to create a cluster. Well, a centroid almost never correspond to an actual data point. A Maydod must be an actual data point. In centroid, what happens? We're going to find the average of each point. We are going to find out average of each cluster, points in each cluster. So we are going to find out the average there, that is mean or centroid based. Okay, in a Maydod based, so usually it will not a data point because we are going to find out the average. We cannot say that average value can be a point, but Maydod we are going to consider most specific value there, so it must be an actual data point. The basic K-means algorithm, you can notice this algorithm 8.1, it's a basic K-means algorithm. First step is to select K points as initial centroid. Okay, based on the user requirement, you can specify this k value. If k value is 3, so depending on the initial data, it will create 3 initial centroids. Repeat, from K cluster by assigning each point to its closest centroid. So the K cluster, for example, if K is equal to 3, then K 3 number of clusters will be formed by assigning each point to its closest centroid. By assigning, that is, if we have 3 points, for example, for each of these points, it will check what is the distance between the other points. If it is nearer, it will assign to that particular cluster. Recompute the centroid of each cluster. After getting the cluster, recompute the centroid of each cluster. For each cluster, we have to find out the centroid. And this step 3 and step 4 will be repeated until centroids do not change. Until centroid value will not change, until that we have to repeat these 2 steps. That is third one and fourth one. Okay, consider this diagram. So it is 8.3a and 8.3b I have given. In the first step shown in figure 8.3a, points are assigned to the initial centroids, which are all in the larger group of points. So here we have 3 group of points, right? We have triangular, and then we have square shaped, and we have circular data points, and all the 3 data points, all the 3 centroids are located where we have larger group of points. For this example, we use the mean as a centroid. Mean value will be used as a centroid. Find the mean value for all the elements in the cluster. After points are assigned to a centroid, the centroid is then updated. So what we are going to do, we are assigning each data point to some cluster centroid or some cluster based on the distance between the centroid and the actual data point. In the second step, the points are assigned to the updated centroids and the centroids are updated again. Okay, now so you have found 3 centroids. After finding 3 centroids, so all the data points which are close to first centroid will be merged together with the first centroid. If the objects in group 2, if it is nearer to cluster 2, then it will form a cluster there itself. For the third one also same thing. Okay, in steps 2, 3 and 4, which are shown in figure 8.3 B, C and D respectively, 2 of the centroids move to the 2 small groups of points, that is to the down or at the bottom of the figures. The K-means algorithm will terminate in figure 8.3D. Because no more changes occur, the centroids have identified the natural groupings of the points. You can notice that initially all the data points were here with where the largest points we can find. Then the centroids have changed in the next iteration. So here what happens, the points which are near to the centroids are merged together, and then here this values, it will terminate at the 4th step or 8.3D, because no more changes occur. Here no changes will occur. This is the center of this cluster, this is the center of this cluster, and this is the center of the third cluster. Okay, I hope you're getting. So 3 clusters are created here. For some combination of proximity function, proximity means the values which are nearer, and types of centroid, K-means always converges to a solution. What is this converges? Converges means K-means reaches a state in which no points are shifting from one cluster to another cluster, and hence the centroid don't change. If the centroid don't change, then the K-means algorithm will terminate. Even though you call another iteration, the centroid will not change. Okay. So that is the concept of K-means cluster. We'll continue the remaining concept in the next class.